Alright, we're back. Found one. I only needed one. I got 3 or 4 floating around somewhere, but only found one. I hate going outside, it's raining out there, so every time I go upstairs I could go outside and get wet. Alright, there's our screw. Hopefully this one goes in a hole like it's supposed to. It does its job. Well, this one works a lot better than that last one. And it locks it up. Okay, that one locks the shaft up. Perfect. That's what I like. If the shaft doesn't move, it doesn't rotate, doesn't spin, it doesn't leak. And the screw's below the surface like it's supposed to be. So now it's below the surface. This one here, wherever it went to, is all screwed up. The top's all screwed up, so the top threads are all funneled out, so it jams on the threads trying to go in. It won't go all the way in. That one just went in like nothing. It's like it was made for it. So now the shaft doesn't move. These move nice and freely, that's good. And that thing sticks way the hell out, and yeah, the groove isn't out all the way, but it's pretty close. And that is an O-ring. Yep, that is an O-ring that's sheared off. That's the top of the O-ring that's sheared off. Yep. Figured it would do that. Usually does. Alright, so we only got partial O-ring sealing there. But we got a lot of goop in there. That's a plus. Okay, so at this point here is kind of where we're at. I want to do a quick check with the lid on top. Make sure it shifts. And then we got to seal this thing up. So we need a gasket. Right here. We're still in neutral, more or less. And this is not a neutral. It's just so much better than it used to. Okay, we are down. Just make sure it shifts. Come on, find the gear. Go the other way then, I don't care. There it is. Third. Hey, don't lift the lid up, dumbass. Lid stay down. Okay, we're in fourth. Third. Second. Neutral. Now going to low. Low, dog light up. There's low. Back to neutral. Okay, so it's all shifting like it's supposed to. That's a plus. Okay, so now we're going to do is tilt this thing up. I need something flat to put this onto, so I need a couple of 1-inch blocks. Two, 3 blocks. That's because they're 1, 2, 3. So they call 1, 2, 3 blocks. Okay. Transmission's sitting nice and flat. And we'll do this side too. Okay, so do it like that. Okay, here's our drain plug. The drain plug is not supposed to have an O-ring in the bottom of it, and it keeps it from tightening up all the way. Because the case is not cut for the O-ring. So if you see how the threads are square cut, when you put this in there, It goes in until it hits the O-ring. You try to tighten it up, but the O-ring is in the way. So all you're doing is crushing the O-ring. The plug is still loose, and the O-ring is in the middle. So as the O-ring deteriorates and goes away, the plug gets loose and falls out, or it leaks. So don't put O-rings where they don't belong. This does not take an O-ring. It's not a late model bike. Old bikes don't use no seals at all, or they have real washers in it go in there, real sealing washers. This one has a sealing washer. So the O-ring here is all crushed from the thread, as you can tell. It's not supposed to be there. This is an undercut for machining, not for an O-ring. It's square bottom, not round. There's room for it. Now if you have a really thin O-ring in there, it might work, but not a big thick one. This one uses a copper seal. This is actually a brass one. Goes over the edge like that. Goes around the undercut on the thread. That's on the shoulder of the bolt there. That's why it's cut like that. And that is your seal right there. That's what seals it. So what I do is I put 3-bond on it. So you wipe off all your surfaces. I don't see anything wrong with this washer, so I'm going to reuse it. You probably never even contacted the damn case. Get the oil and stuff off of it. Okay. So now I take my 3-bond. Put a dab on my finger. Because I have those pussy gloves on there. I don't care if my fingers get dirty. Put a little layer of snot on there like that on there. Then you take your O-ring, or your copper gasket I should say. Stick it on top like that. You take another layer of goop. And I lay it in there. Just like that. Then I tighten that up into the case. Screw up the gasket. Okay, then you tighten it up. Like that, it's tight. You wipe off the extra seal you don't need. Sealer. And she's all sealed up. Well, you don't take that out again, it'll be sealed. Yeah, it will never be sealed as good as that right now. Because next time you do it, you're gonna have oil all over it. And sealer doesn't stick to oil for squat. So you can see how it's got a layer of goop all the way around the whole thing. Just like it's supposed to. It's got the copper washer in there, so it's got everything it needs to work correctly. It's tight. That's how it's supposed to be. Okay, now I'm going to switch back over to here. Keep our 1, 2, 3 blocks here where they belong. Somewhere over here, put another one. Yeah, whatever. It's hard to do with one hand. Let's get this out of my face here. Okay, we're all we can get to it. Okay, now what I do is I take a layer of sealer and I lay it on top of this whole area here and across this shift fork here. Now normally these are flush. So this shaft here is way long, so it sticks out. Now the other shaft they make the late one has a snap ring in here to hold with the snap ring and not the screw. That's the 80 and later style. And those things are free to float up and down and move around, and they have a lot of tendency to leak because they're loose. This one here tightens down, it doesn't move anymore. So I like to seal all those up so they stay tight. So I take the 3-bond, I put it right along the top, around the whole surface. I make sure the whole shaft is coated with sealant, so it seals, puts like a cap over the whole thing and seals it. As long as you got 100% cap on there, it won't leak. If you leave a little bit of the open area, it can get underneath the sealer and leak. This stuff likes to run, so you can't put too much on there. The biggest thing is to work it in, get all the air out, get 100% primed surface on it, and let it set up. Same thing over here. This one I go on the outside of the block also. Work it in the groove. Playing with putty. Go back over here on this one. Most of this is going to run off probably, so this stuff will run on you from sitting. Hopefully most of it stays where it belongs, but I know it's going to move around a little bit. Okay. See, a little cleanup mess. Oh, a little jupe on my hands. How'd that happen? Okay, so got a nice cap layer on everything. It's going to run away to almost nothing layer, but it will still have a coating on it. On the outside of that race, there was a groove all the way around. I kept working it on my finger to eliminate any low spot. It looks like the bench is leaned this way because you can see how the sealer is going the other direction. So if you lean it up a little bit like that, it'll be more level. So I got to put a little bit of a shim under here, I guess, or find something that's more level than this. So the best thing is to go find something that's more level, like the milling machine over there is level. So if I put on that, it'll be level. These benches are actually bent like this. So, all right, so I'm gonna go put that over there in the lathe. Not lathe, milling machine. Now we let that level out on a level surface. This one's level and that one's level. So I try to level my stuff out so it works correctly. So now the goop's going to go back toward the low spot over here in the corner. It was running away from it. Now it's going to go back over to it a little bit. But you can see there's no air bubble over there and no low spot. It is still connected. So the sealer will set up, and hopefully most of it stays put, but I know it's going to run around a little bit. But I got a nice, good surface bond to everything, and then I put a cap layer over top of that, and so it should have a good prime surface, so it will stay oil tight. So tomorrow I can come in, I can put the sprocket on here, put the cover on it, put the kicker stuff on it, and finish it up. But basic transmission, everything's set up right now, so it can work the way it's supposed to. Alright, it takes about 3 days minimum to do these things because I let stuff set up and seal and dry before I move on. But, oh well. All right, we're done with this one for today.